Hi everybody, how's it going? I'm Jack Devine. Welcome back to another episode of Jacksnax. Today we're going to talk about how to hold a pick. All right, so I've changed the camera angle to show how I'm holding my pick in relation to the strings. First things first, let's look at how it's actually held between the thumb and the forefinger here, okay, our index finger, right? See how the tip of the pick is coming out at an angle, okay? And it's effectively looking like an extension of my index finger. If I was to kind of pinch my index finger and hold it like that, right? It kind of looks like that. The tip of the pick has now replaced that contour. That's really what I'm looking for. And I'll occasionally have, more or less depending on how much, how the sound I'm looking for, but that's about it. Okay, now so you see this, the pick is coming out past the pick, the thumb, roughly like that, okay? And then the index side looks kind of like that. Okay, so I'm kind of rolling my index finger. See how it's kind of coming across, again, flat across the bottom of the pick. I'm not really extending it straight like that. I'm kind of curling it underneath. So that's going to basically allow this to move across the strings without my index finger doing much more than being parallel with it, maybe just a little underneath, okay? And my pick is not going flat with the string like that. It's actually rotated just a little bit this way. I don't cock my thumbnail down or my knuckle up too much, just a little bit. And this can just be just a few degrees. And the idea is that we're reducing the surface area of the pick that's coming across the string. Okay, if we come at it head on like this, flat, it becomes very obvious if we just kind of come flat on versus it slips through much easier on that leading edge. Okay, some guys, they rotate their hand this way. Okay, they kind of come under. You'll see this grip occasionally, like George Benson and stuff like that. And that tends to make the person put their index finger like that. I'm not here to say one's better or worse. I'm just saying what I use. Obviously, George Benson hasn't seemed to slow him down over the years, right? So here I am, basically in that position, okay? And with my hand, not here, but kind of cocked up just a few degrees so that I'm on that front edge during downstrokes, and on upstrokes, I'm hitting this side actually right here, okay, when I'm stroking up. So down, up, down, up. Okay, and with enough gain and a scratchy pick, you can actually get, I'm actually on that rather than like this on the flat. Okay, so this produces a different sound than this, even not just the attack, but also just the actual sound of the note. The tone is a little different too. Well, I'm on the bridge pickup there to magnify the treble. Here's the neck. So you see how the thumb is kind of angled this way? That's to get that leading edge to be on the downstroke, okay? Okay, so that's what's happening with the rotation this way. Now, the other thing that we want to look at is this angle right here. I'm going to change this. Okay, now let's imagine the strings here. The pick is flat with the string, okay? We don't want to do that either, because when we come through the plane of the strings, we're going to get a very bright and stuck kind of sound. See, even I'm trying to make the pick go through the strings very effortlessly, but if I really want it to be smooth, I rotate my hand towards the floor. Okay, and that's that downward pick slanting thing that you hear so much about on the internet there. So not only am I rotating this way, I'm also rotating this way, okay? As if I was turning the ignition on in my car, okay? So keys forward like that, okay? And that's the extent of how I approach picking. My pick is like that, okay, kind of coming across my thumb, okay? Not like this. A lot of people want to pinch the pick between these two pads, and then they start pecking at it. Like, the idea is that it's here, and then I'm coming like this. Okay, so. it that tight. We want to be able to make sure we're getting that the pick will give way a little bit, but not go flying out of our hand. If you pick it really tight, everything's going to sound, it's going to, okay, so picking pressure really isn't just how hard we push through the string, it's also how hard we grip the pick. So sometimes you'll hear me talk about applying more pick pressure. That's holding it tighter and pushing it through. Now that can be helpful at the utmost of our dynamic range. Like on that big note, right? Smooth. So on the big, it's nice to be able to dig in a little bit. Okay, so you have to be in control of how hard you're pinching. Okay, that's pick pressure, and also how hard you push through the string. Okay. Okay, so experiment with being loud and soft, all right? But really, what this is all about is making sure, and also we don't want to have the pick go super deep into the string, but we also don't want it to just be just the tip. There's like a gratifying amount of pick depth that we're looking for. And obviously the faster you get, you know, the less pick you can afford to really stick in there, but you definitely get a little bit more tone. That's what this kind of can sound very, you know, a little, I don't know, a little more casual than determined. Now I have somewhat of a, you know, more percussive and pronounced attack, but I mean, I like that sound. If you don't, then you may want to opt for other approaches. Also, with respect to my hand, you can approach it from a closed perspective like this, but I tend to keep my hand kind of loose here and just kind of maintaining a point of contact on the guard and also with my palm. All right, and that way I can kind of triangulate where I am within the actual string set, and also relative to the bridge and the various pickups that I'm dealing with, the volume knob, and everything is right there. Okay, and I can get at it very easily. And also I have the opportunity to do things like this, where I'm pulling and plucking up, or maybe doing, that's, you know, doing a little claw thing like that, you know? Can't do that if you're, then you're always doing that to get those guys out and then tucking them back in like the landing gear on a plane. All right, so that's my right hand positioning, and I'm usually somewhere up in here between these two pickups on a Strat. This is just too far back for me to do, because then your hand is kind of off the strings. I like to put my hand somewhere on the strings roughly. I rest the chop of my hand roughly there, kind of diagonally across, so that I'm not always hitting. This is just my Strat. Okay, so like that. That's my little sweet spot right in here. You'll see it all the time. Okay, and that's it.